Welcome to the Murphy, Sam, and Jodi After the Show podcast.
I was such a wreck this morning talking about my mom's breast cancer this year, and I'm sorry.
You mean on the show?
On the show. I was just a mess. It was a bunch of stammering, and I couldn't breathe, and I'm so
Jodi.
sorry. It was a mess.
That's one of those things you don't apologize for.
Well, okay, I do want to make some corrections. I didn't even tell the joke right.
Joke?
When after the day of her surgery, she and her true self was making a joke. And she got, I pulled up to the front of the hospital and helped her get in the car. And she was still loopy, but of course she's who she is. She's a funny lady. I was saying how she got, after the lumpectomy, she was given two very soft, like sports-like bras that were also very, not tight, but secure, because she was supposed to wear it where the gauze was and all of that for 2 weeks. Like, don't go free for a while. And except to put medicine on or change or something like that. And so the hospital gave her two new bras. And it was funny because I put her up in my car and I got around and I'm like, okay, we're ready to go. And I'm all tense. And she's like, yeah. She said, I got two new bras the hard way.
Oh, that was the show. Yeah, that is funnier.
It took me, I couldn't even tell the joke.
Yeah.
I was a nervous wreck talking about it. Because it's her story, not mine. It's a scary story to me.
Of course.
It just matters so much.
I know you've been worried about it for a long time. And, that surgery was much earlier in the year, and you were keeping it private.
Keeping it on the low for her sake. In fact, I said last week when I asked her, look, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I would love to share your story. I really thought she'd get like, Jodi, no, she's so private. I'm so not private. She thinks I'm crazy. And
I think it's a good share because I think she knows that can benefit others. She's grateful that she got, it was early detection for her. Yeah. Was able to do something about it. That's an important message to share.
She was funny all the whole way, though. You understand, even in the doctor's office, after the diagnosis, when they're giving her your choices of a lumpectomy, double mastectomy, or whatever, she stopped for a second and she looked at me and she said, I only got my mammogram so I could get my hormones. That's my mom's humor and honesty. But she faced it all like a trooper.
I remember being there. She was still kind of loopy and then, coming to before leaving. And that's when you got mad at me for not mad really.
I don't remember.
But you were surprised when we were leaving. Yeah. I pulled in behind you. I didn't.
Oh.
I kind of made my own parking spot because I wanted to make sure that I was able to see your mom get in the car. Okay, and
right.
And you were like, they're going to make you move.
They're going to make you move.
I'm like, I've got my flashers on. It's okay. We'll get her in the car and then we'll go.
You understand? I was uptight. I drove her home. I put her to bed. I spent the night with her. Yeah. I helped her undress for a couple of days. Things like that. Things that she couldn't do really for herself because she wasn't supposed to raise her arms above her head.
Right.
I have a question about her sense of humor there. Is that because that's normal or is that because of nerves? Because I know medically, whenever I have a procedure or something, it's like I'm trying to be Sam and crack jokes, but a lot of it is just nerves.
It's normal.
Yeah.
It's normal for her to crack a joke.
She's she really has a very naturally funny sense of humor, and it's sarcasm. So, it's not.
Totally.
She's not. I don't want to say she's not fazed by things, but it doesn't come from a position of nervousness. She will just throw a quip out when you least expect it.
Yeah. It's not that she's not nervous, it's that she faces her nerves in certain ways. Yeah. But I will say this. So that's the joke. I got that right. One thing I also said today, because I was just such a nervous wreck, explaining it, I had said, that, all cancer is so personal. Breast cancer is especially personal for women. And I think I said something about it having to do with your womanhood. It's not your womanhood, because if you have breast cancer and you do a double mastectomy and you lose your breast, you're still a woman.
Mm-hmm. Right.
What I meant to say was that it has to do with your femininity and the way that you see yourself. And so a lot of women
it tends to define you.
Who go through that. Well, not define you, but it just touches on, it's a part of your femininity. So, there's a lot that goes into those decisions. It's not just a cancer decision. It's a who am I decision. Yeah. And so I wanted to kind of clarify that. I was just not my normal communicative self this morning about that. But the scare that we had, Murphy, you don't even know about this. And I didn't know about it except for 5 minutes. So last week, she had a follow-up appointment on her birthday. And so after work, I drove to the hospital and met her by the time I got into the waiting room, she was already back there with her surgeon and doctor. And so I was like, hey, I'm Jodi. My mom is this person. She's in there. I'm supposed to be in this appointment with her. And they were like, sure. They take a second. They double check, and then they came and got me. And I got into the room. And right before the doctor came in, she says, okay, so I didn't want to tell you this. She says, but one of the reasons that I think it's good that you're here with me for this appointment is that I have on the same breast that she had cancer in and had it removed in February, she has a brand new lump. And I was like, what? And she said, and she let me feel it. And it's significant, just a lump. And I was like, oh no, and she said, I didn't want to tell you. Had been experiencing it for 2 weeks. And I'm like, Mom, we have this whole history of, her not telling me things. And it's but she's like, and I understand from a mother's perspective, what's the point in making me worry if she knew I was going to be with her at the appointment? So her surgeon came in to the room and how you doing? All that stuff out of the way and straight to, I have something here. And the surgeon was, right, where is it? Okay. And she looked at it and felt it. She says, well, I'm going to send you down for a mammogram today right now. But I can tell you that's where your radiation was. And we were like,
oh, wow.
Oh, and for some people, your body doesn't react that way to radiation. Some people it does react that way. Some people it reacts right away or 6 months or a year later. So the places where she had no radiation anywhere like lower. It was all at the site of where this mass was. And that's exactly where this lump came from. And we were like, okay, so we felt better. So we go, the appointment, the whole appointment's good, the whole examination, all of that. We go downstairs. She gets a mammogram. I'll just wait. Obviously, I'm not in there with that for her, but because of the breast cancer this year, the surgery, the seriousness of the potential for what this could be, not only do they do the mammogram right there, the doctors look at it right then and there. So I was impressed by that. Well, all this is new to all of us, you understand. So they looked at it and said, yeah, that's just your body. It's inflammation. Your body is reacting all these months later to the radiation. So it's like, and that is why, Murphy, I was so emotional last week.
Yeah.
And Thursday, that was her birthday. That was the day we did the appointment. Right after that appointment, okay, it's fine. It's a lump, but it's fine. We go back to the house. You came home from work. She was there. And we went to dinner. And that's why her birthday dinner was so happy for me and for her. We had not told any of you that yet.
Right.
Because what's the point? It seemed like a little scare, but it was. And how often does that happen in medical world for something to scare you and then you get the answer right away that it's okay?
Well, I learned something new just now. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. She was told to also add a vitamin E to her diet and to her supplements if she's not taking it for help with inflammation.
Okay.
Is that part where the lump is? Is that going to gradually fade
Supposed
away?
to. That's as I understood it. Gotcha. Every single person's cancer story is different. So whatever I'm saying is not necessarily true for you if you're listening to this or watching this and you have breast cancer. Every single woman's story is different. Like from the jump, when I went with her for the biopsy, like after she had a mammogram that showed there was something, and they asked her to come back. I will never forget that day. We were brought into this different area that I didn't realize existed. It's for the mammograms where there's something. It's a deeper look, and then we're sitting in there and. Mom goes back, and I wish I could have gone with her to help her. I even asked, can I go with her to hold her hand? They're like, no, you can't. This was the biopsy. And she explained, we've talked a lot about, mammograms and what they're like. This is so different. She said it's not like a mammogram. The way she had to get positioned was very awkward and uncomfortable. And she did say it hurt. It really hurt for them to go in and get that.
Yeah.
That was one of the hardest things of her whole story was that biopsy. But God, we learned that after that, well, let me backwards a little bit. Let me rewind a little bit. When she was told it was cancer, they recommended she go ahead and get it removed. They're like, we want you to schedule this for January. She's like, January? And so it got pushed to February because of scheduling conflicts. Before she made the decision, we went home with a huge binder. And her decision was, you can either have a lumpectomy and we will remove this, and then we'll send it off for, testing to learn about it, how it formed, why it formed, best guesses, all of that. And, is it pathology?
Mm-hmm.
Or you can have a double mastectomy. And I remember asking, why would that be the option if there's only a small, and hers was close to the surface. In other words, it's not a completely intrusive story to go in and get it. It was very close to the surface. And I asked that question, and the nurse explained, you give that option because every single person is different. It's like there are women who say, you know what, take them. If they're cancerous, if they're going, if it's likely again.
Yeah, especially if there's history in the family.
Right. Mm-hmm. And there is history in my family. Mm-hmm. This changes my game too. I'm supposed to see a breast specialist now instead of just my regular mammogram, but we'll get to me later. I haven't even done any of that later. This whole year has been about my mom.
Yeah.
Another thing that was crazy was that after the surgery, she was concerned about scarring and then how she would look, even in clothing. Will she still look balanced? And because of the size and the type and the surgeon, what was explained to us was her doctor was like, I'm going to go in and get that out. That's not what takes the longest. Getting it out is not what takes the longest. She says, after I've gotten the mass out, I'm going to go back in and I'm going to take some tissue and I'm going to move tissue around so that you don't have like a gaping.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to arrange your breast tissue a little bit. And I thought, my God, that's fantastic. And, little stories. I don't want to give away too much because it's my mom's story. It's not my story, but she doesn't remember the ride home from the surgery, which is fine, except making the bra jokes. What was uncomfortable for her, she was on, medication from the surgery, pain medication, but she had to put cold packs in those bras at the places where they had cut, which was in a couple of places for just, the numbing effect, the cold. That was uncomfortable and hard for her to deal with. We got her home, put her to bed. I went and bought soup. I did all the things. I had to work the next day. Her surgery was like on a Thursday, and I had to be here. The next morning, but I stayed the night at her house with her because I wanted to be the one to be able to. It's just so personal, so female. My brother was there, but if she needed help in the shower or help here and there, I needed to be the one. And I did help her get in and out of PJs and things like that because she wasn't supposed to raise her arms up over her head. But so, she has cats. So it was a very long, sort of stressful day for me. And I laid down finally to go to sleep on the day bed that's in her living room, Murphy. That used to be Taylor's bed.
Yeah, our daughter.
She has it. So I finally relax. It's late. It's like, it's after 11 o'clock. And I'm like, I got to be up at the crack of dawn. But she's good. And she knew I was leaving to come work and then I'd be there again later. I finally had fallen asleep. And most of her cats are scared of me and don't know me, so fine. Well, they got curious. And as soon as I had fallen asleep, that yellow and white one, Murphy, that orange and white one, his name is Roscoe, he jumped right in my face. He jumped on my body.
Really?
Halloween scared me. I mean, I jumped and he jumped off of me. And then an hour later, he jumped back on me. So I just laid there still and let him sniff me and smell me. And now to this day, he knows me. He'll come out and let me pet him and stuff. That's one true story from it all. But I was really proud of her because I was so worried that she would delay it and not do it. It's scary. And she's, Murphy, she has a mind of her own. She's a very stubborn person.
Yeah, and she's always, though, she always rises to whatever occasion gets in her way.
I know.
She's overcome a lot of obstacles.
Yes, she has.
And so I think when it's serious enough, she just always does what needs to be done.
Yeah, she's tough.
Yeah.
She's very tough. She bounced back really quickly, kind of like your mom, Sam, who's just on the money, just a tough lady. I didn't have to help her like with a bath, but like one time. And the next day or two, I go over there. I'm like, okay, I'm here to help you. She's like, I already did it. I'm like, okay. I did help her dry her hair once, which was cute because she's so particular about her hair. And, I'm like, blow fast and blow and go fast. And she's like, no. I loved being able to help her like that. Mm-hmm. But, she wasn't really there. She's independent enough that she wanted to do as much as she possibly could.
Yeah. And her pain tolerance is good. You both have had children, so you've experienced pain tolerance at its peak.
Anyway, so that's the story, her story. I always say October to October because last October was when she went for the routine mammogram. Mm-hmm. And as she put it, I'm only here for my hormones, but let's do this mammogram. And she had to come off of the hormones because they found in the report that hers was hormone fed, meaning it grew because of hormones that she's taken. Yeah. The tumor. However, she and her doctor noted, not to let that scare anyone, because she's been taking hormones, my mother, for a long time, because she had a hysterectomy years ago, like a long time ago. So she's been taking hormones longer than a lot of women her age. So anyway, I think she's just beautiful and funny. And
a question about it. So now going forward, is she, I guess, more under a watchful eye? Does she have to go twice a year?
I didn't ask that question, but she was due for her mammogram anyway when we were there the other day. And they were like, you can come back next week and do it. And she said, but I'm pretty sure it's just the mass you're feeling now is just from the radiation. She was like, no, let's just do it. I don't know the answer to that question. I'm about to find out about mine because now I know that she's all good. Not that it's her or me. I still take care of myself. But Murphy, I haven't done my appointment yet. And I was given by my doctor, hey, your mom had breast cancer this year. You need to go see this person now. Yeah. Even though we know it wasn't like genetic, it was hormone fed. It still puts me in a different
category,
whatever.
Well, go do that. Schedule that.
I will. It is time. It is time for me. And so thank you guys for bearing with me this morning where I couldn't get my words out. Literally, emotion got in my way.
Missed any part of the show? Get it all on the Murphy, Sam, and Jodi podcast.